In this video, let's talk about how to generate ideas when developing an essay for IELTS Writing Task 2. As I mentioned at the beginning of this series, writing an essay is a creative process. This is not based on a logical formula. You don't want to follow the exact same format every time. The essay should come from a creative part of you. The question that a lot of students ask me is, where can I get my ideas? Because when they sit down and they're under the time constraint of the exam and they have to write the essay, they feel like they have no ideas. They don't know what to write about. And I feel that's completely understandable because you're given a topic that you don't know is coming. It's an unexpected topic. Secondly, you might not be very familiar with the topic itself. So that's a second challenge. And thirdly, you're under the clock. So you have to come up with these ideas within a specific time frame. So in this video, I really want to show you that I understand how you feel, because I would feel exactly the same as you, and that we can find ways of generating the ideas quickly when you only have a few minutes at the beginning to create your essay. First and foremost, the best thing that really you can do is to know what topics are going to come up in IELTS Writing Task 2. I've spoken about this with many examiners and many students of IELTS, and the students, of course, are always concerned about what topic is going to come up. So what we do is we look back at the pattern. We look back at what topics have come up before in previous exams, and we make a prediction based on the patterns. The most common topics, first of all, are education, health, environment, government, family life, food, technology, business, work, sport. And these topics, this list that I've created here, is based on the patterns of the topics that have come up over and over again throughout the years. What you can also do is you can look back at what came up in the last season. So you can talk to your fellow students or talk to teachers and find out what came up that last season. So for example, if you're in the summertime now, find out what came up in April. If you're in September, find out what came up in the summertime. And then you can expect that those topics will not come up again in your upcoming exam. Now that you know what the topics are, it's time to start reading. Now, why do I suggest reading rather than watching TV or watching videos? The reason I suggest it is because when you read, you're learning vocabulary and you can see the words. There's nothing wrong with watching movies or television or YouTube. In fact, video is a great way to develop your language. However, when you're reading, you visualize those words. The vocabulary is right in front of you. So it's a perfect way to acquire new language. Generating ideas is very connected to lexical resource, because when you find an idea, you need language to go with it. When you read around the topics that I've just mentioned. Read about education, read about the environment, read about government, read about family life. Enrichen your ideas and grow your concepts by reading. When you meet a really intelligent person, somebody working in government, in leadership positions, how do you think they got there? Are they so different from you? No. People who are in those high-level positions are no different. The only difference is that maybe they've read a lot more and they've managed to climb the ladder to a high-level corporate position or position in authority. So reading is a great way to differentiate yourself. It's a great way to educate yourself. And of course, the best read people are the best educated people. Another great way to build ideas is through conversation, but not conversation about just anything. So when you meet your speaking buddy or your English partner or your teacher, you want to have a discussion about something related to an IELTS topic. So be sure that you talk about something relevant, like the topic of health or the topic of food or cooking. In this way, you can maybe learn some new words from them and maybe learn some ideas. The other thing is that you want to practice your ability to agree and to disagree, to discuss, to describe problems, to discuss advantages and disadvantages. So try to hone in your conversation on all this aspect of communication so that you are developing your ability to argue in your essay in the IELTS exam. That brings us now to the types of essays that will come up. So what type of essay is it? When you sit down and you're ready to write your IELTS essay, figure out, is it a problem solution? Is it a double question, agree, disagree, discussion, or an advantages, disadvantages essay? Once you categorize the essay type, then you're already on your way to building some more ideas. So that's the main thing, categorize the essay. Now that you have categorized the essay, it's time to look at the question and to analyze the question. In this way, you can guarantee a better task response and a better band score for your essay. We take an example. Large cities are becoming more polluted and crowded. What do you think are the causes of this? What solutions can you suggest? All right, so you can see, first of all, you've categorized it quickly. It's about cause and solutions. Therefore, we know this is a problem solution question. Now, in order to generate ideas, the best thing you can do right here, right now, is to break down the essay question, or you're going to divide it into pieces. Just like any problem, any mathematical problem, any topic that you have in an exam, you break it down. And that's what we're doing here. So we're looking at each statement, and with each statement, you're generating the idea. So we're given a problem. The problem is that the large cities are becoming more polluted and crowded. So there are two things going on here, the pollution and the crowd. So that's what I mean by understanding the question. You're not just looking at a piece of the question, you're looking at its entirety. You're looking at every point. There's a reason that the examiners have put these questions. They're looking for you to fully understand it. Then you're looking at the causes, and then you're looking at the solutions. Okay, so we need to generate ideas. We understand the problem. So we need one cause or we need two causes. We need one solution or two solutions. So a lot of students ask me, well, how many problems and how many solutions do I need to talk about? And many students want to put many causes, many solutions to get a better band score, but no, that's not how it works. You're actually better off giving one problem, one cause of the problem, one solution, and elaborate it in full. That way you can really develop your idea and get a better band score for task response. So developing your ideas in full is the key here. However, how do we actually come up with ideas? This is really the big question. So you're looking for the causes of pollution, and you're looking for the causes of crowds, and you're looking for the solution for pollution and the solution for crowds. So now that you've broken it down into pieces, you know what to do. Now we have to generate real ideas. Okay, there's no need to be too scientific here. Okay, you don't need to be a technical expert, and you don't even need to know the topic very well. Hopefully you know something about the environment. It's a topic that we hear about constantly in the news, and you are aware that cities are polluted. So generating ideas, think about your own experience. Have you ever been in a large city? Which city was it? Were you in London? Were you in Mumbai? Were you in Shanghai? Was it polluted? Why was it polluted? So yes, I went to London, I went to Paris. The pollution in Paris was awful. The pollution in London wasn't as bad, but it was pretty bad in certain areas of the city. Why was that city polluted? What was the reason? All you have to do is think about that environment when you're walking in the city and you're downtown. Smoke, where is it coming from? It's coming from the cars, right? Petrol cars. These are not solar cars. These are not electric. They're petrol cars and factories. Not in every city. For example, in Paris, There aren't factories in the city, of course, but there are many factories in many other cities that are causing pollution. So those are two very obvious reasons for pollution. This didn't come from my scientific background. I don't know anything about science. I've never studied the environment either, but most people, common sense, know that these are the causes. Now, what solutions can you suggest? This one's a little bit trickier. How can you come up with solutions? Again, keep it simple, all right? Use common sense. Don't need to be scientific here. The best way to find a solution is to eliminate the cause, right? So if petrol cars are the problem, get rid of the petrol cars, reduce the petrol traffic, reduce manufacturing that is emitting smoke. So that's an easy solution. Now we need to speak about the crowd. So what is causing crowds? This is something that we see in many big metropolis like Mumbai, or in Europe, we see cities just getting bigger and bigger. Why? Well, because people are moving into these cities to work. They want jobs. That's a very obvious reason. Most of us know that we go to the city to find work because there's more industry, there are more companies, there are more jobs available. So that's a cause of crowds. How can we reduce crowd in the city? What do you think? You just get some people and you move them somewhere else. You create suburb, or you create more housing in other towns outside of the city. In fact, that's what the governments are already doing. Keeping it simple, that really helps your essay to stay coherent also. So not only are you getting a good task achievement, you're also maintaining coherence and cohesion by using common sense, providing simple ideas, no big technical solutions or elaborate ideas. Keep it sweet and keep it easy. Cities are more polluted because of traffic and industry. They are crowded because of the growth in population. Just reduce the petrol from traffic and industry and encourage people to live outside the inner city. These are our ideas. We've come up with ideas just using basic common sense. Coming back to task response, also make sure that you stick to the topic. Of course, we want to have creative ideas, we want to generate, but you don't want to brainstorm to the point where you're all over the place. You know, you've got one idea here, another idea in the next sentence, another idea in the next one. No, keep it straightforward, keep it coherent. Make sure that you answer the question, don't deviate, okay, from the theme or the subject matter. Just follow those simple ideas: the pollution, the crowd, the cause, the solution. What do you think are the causes of this? Stay with the causes only in paragraph 1. What solutions can you suggest? Stay with the solutions only in paragraph 2. In order to achieve great task response, you must give an example, and great ideas must be proven, right? They need to be explained. This is the formula of logic. You present your premise, you explain it, second sentence, and you give an example. And those ideas are reformulated in the conclusion. That is the logical formula that we talked about early on in the writer's course. Idea, explain, example. How do you come up with examples? Again, coming back to personal experience is absolutely fine. I would say I don't normally like to give a personal example. It's better maybe to give a more general example, but whatever suits the topic. In this case, if you're speaking about cities, you can refer to a city that you know, like you've been to London, you know it. And when you refer to a solution, again, refer to something you know. In the case of reducing petrol cars, you can give the ideal example of electric cars or hydrogen cars, new alternative energy as your example. Coming back to what I said earlier in the video, reading will really help you, and also discussing these topics with others who are interested in these subjects will really help you to start generating ideas. In that way, when you sit down and you're about to do your essay during the exam, you'll be less nervous and more confident to put your ideas in writing.